An history book. In fact, you can call it a book for ordinary. That's why you need the Rema. Waiting be the Rema, Rema, 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 Rema. Waiting be the Rema.
Hi everyone, we welcome you to today's episode. So, I am Samantha Ukeme, and here is a program brought to you by Uyo Catholic Media, where you have the beautiful Sonax TV studio. So, today, we need you to sit still. Let's see what we have for you. Today, we want to talk about the topic, harnessing the power of AI for transformative learning. I'm not going to do this alone, of course. I have two special guests in the studio here with me. It's going to be a very interesting ride. You know, throughout, you would be hearing AI throughout. So whenever you hear AI, what we are referring to is artificial intelligence. You can see how fast the pace is at the moment. You can see the innovations. A lot is happening. Everything is almost being driven by AI. So today, get close as I introduce you to the special guest we have today in the studio. So, please take me on. To my right, I'm going to be introducing you to our special guest. His name is Mr. Idiongo Ebong. He is the counselor at Cardinal Kanem Seminary, Uyo, and also the president of Eduvite Consult to you. I don't know if you've heard about that. Of course, when he speaks, I think you already know him, and if you don't, you get to know him better. And then the second guest we have in the studio is to my left. He is a doctor, of course, an academic doctor in the educational historian, Faculty of Education, University of Uyo. So he is an educational historian and a policy maker. And his name is Dr. Anwangabasi Achibong. Interesting. You are welcome, Doctor. So good to have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's start with you. I know you, before we get to the main deal of the day, the discourse for the session, I would love you to say something, a little introduction, let's say 1 minute or thereabout. Just say something about yourself.
Okay, my name is Anwangabasi Achibong. I am from Uyo local government area, and I am an historian, educational historian and policy maker. Okay. And it is really a pleasure to be here with you. So
nice. So same to my right, Mr. Idiongo. Oh my God, so nice to meet you, sir. So please say something. Introduce yourself again, at least for the audience to know you better.
Okay, my name is Idiongo Ebong. I'm a teacher.
Okay.
I've been in the practice for, I think, 15 plus years. I'm also the president of Eduvite Consults, a system that manages technology.
Wow.
Fusing it into teaching and learning.
That's beautiful.
Engineering the future of teaching and learning through technology and innovative practices.
That is so beautiful.
I'm also a counselor in residence practice for Cardinal Kanem Seminary.
Okay.
I think a product of the University of Rio and product of other formative systems.
Very nice.
Not just University of Rio.
Very nice. See, there is no way I would have been able to do the introduction properly and more beautiful and exactly the way they have. So now you get to know them. Let's sit still. So let's get into the discourse in proper. The question or the topic rather is harnessing the power of AI for transformative learning. So please, let's get into a brief understanding or an overview of what artificial intelligence is to bring everyone to the same page.
It's okay. Thank you very much. We are living in the 21st century, and we cannot discuss this all-important topic without, first of all, defining some concepts in this all-important topic. A lot of us have been hearing about AI, but this is an opportunity for us to know what AI really is. AI in education that is artificial intelligence in education, can simply be defined as the application of smart digital transformational technologies in order to help curriculum planners, teachers, stakeholders in education to ease the process of learning. I'd also love us to talk about what is transformative learning. Transformative learning is also very important because it is a kind of learning that seeks to change the way a learner thinks, the way he sees and understands his immediate environment. Most importantly, transformative learning is the type of learning that seeks to positively affect the student cognitive, affective, and psychomotive domain, all to ensure the child has better understanding of himself, his environment, and how to properly use AI in learning.
That is so powerful. So today, I will not only be the one that benefits from this session. So I suggest if you ever come across this video, please share it to somebody. You can as well go on YouTube. When you go on YouTube, you're gonna see this live streaming going on right now on Sonax TV 22. You can go search right away, share it to someone, and then let's sit still. Okay, so I'll get back to you. Let me also have Mr. Idiongo Ebong to also get us to understand in his own way of definition what AI is.
Okay, AI is simply a set of algorithms and code system that takes in data from the society, human produced data, and then recreates the data through digital synthesis and supplies products to users depending on the data fed into the system. So it's a system where human beings first sit down and create a data and then fits that data into the system and then gives it a generative potency, ability to generate depending on the data you fed into the system. And when it generates, it solves problems. Like my colleague had said, it solves problems. It assists in curriculum development, lesson planning, and student learning. That's basically what artificial intelligence is. We call it artificial because it isn't natural. We created it by our own data resource. Fine. It is intelligent because it is set to solve your problems. The major aim of it is set to solve your problems.
Quite exciting. Like, I am already carried away by this session because I am an AI analyst and also an enthusiast. It is one of the things that gets me super excited. And I want to assure you that you will not just listen to people speak in this session, but you're gonna learn. So I think you should get a pen and paper or maybe start recording your screen because you are going to learn a lot. People, what you're gonna hear, you can hear the breakdown from my both guests. What you're about to learn or listen to, or the understanding you're about to get, it is something you are supposed to pay for. But we have people here who are interested willingly to share it with you free of charge. Okay, so Doctor.
Thank you.
Doctor, let's bring it to your profession. Let's come home. I have a couple of questions I am going to ask, and then also hope that, of course, not just hoping, believe that you are going to do justice to it. So the number one question I want to ask you is, looking at the history of innovations, how significant is AI compared to previous technological revolutions in education?
Okay, thank you very much. When you say history of education, you are taking us quite back. Invariably, you were saying how was education practiced before the introduction of AI. But before I say that, let me quickly make an observation. My other brother will be talking about AI, the main AI, why I will be applying the principle of AI in education.
Agreed.
Because before now in education, what we had was basically manual way of doing things. Even when we had the Portuguese during the colonial era. They had the Portuguese visit when they visited Nigeria in 1842.
Yeah.
The very first set of people who received education received manual education. That manual education was handed over by the missionaries to the colonial government. And the colonial government handed over manual education to the Nigerian government. That was after Nigeria had gained independence. What do I mean by manual education? It was a system of education where everything had to be done physically. From the point of registration, a child has to go to school. The parent has to take the child to school. From the point of taking attendance, most times teachers have to count. What is the number of students we have in school? 1, 2, 3. Or the other improvised way where they had to do what we call a roll call. Imagine a teacher calling 300 names. And before now, let me also say very tentatively that what we had was a system where previous technologies only provided data to students, such as the radio, the television, and what you have in the internet. But the significance of AI is the fact that AI has rebranded education, added more value. For instance, today, a child can go to school and the parents, you stay in the house and know that the child has reported to school without you having to go. I think they call it classical, where a classical app through AI, where a child will have to be clocked into school. As a parent, you stay in the house. The moment your child gets to school, the school will clock the child in from the gates. And as a parent, you get a notification from the house that your child have reported to school. And also, the moment the school dismisses, the teacher also clocks the child out. And as a parent, you also get notification. So you can see the level of advancement AI has brought. AI is also very important in the 21st century learning because it introduces what we call easy learning, feedback, like you rightly mentioned. Today, I doubt there is any question AI cannot provide answers to. There is basically nothing you will ask, and AI will not be able to give you immediate response, satisfactory response. The beauty of AI is what I'm about to point out right now. This is what it does. It studies the strengths and the weakness of the student. And it doesn't only leave it at that. AI also provides resources for the student to improve on the weakness or to better on the area of strengths, or rather areas of strength. So you can see AI has become very important to the point that it is also even being used in automated administrative tasks like roll calls. I have already mentioned that roll calls can be taken through the use of AI. Students' attendance, so many other things could be done. So AI has become very significant, and let me say it cuts across all levels of education. In most, particularly for those in the tertiary institution today, you can stay in your house, quickly do an assignment and submit without even having to attend class.
Absolutely.
So
That's true.
generally, it has brought a lot of significant and also enhanced easy learning within the academic environment.
Wow. Thank you very much, Doctor. That's so good. I'm so happy. Please to you, Mr. Idiong.
Okay.
I also no. I need you to come. You know, he said something. He is going to be applying while you dwell actually on the main discourse, which is the AI, the artificial intelligence itself. Okay, so this is what I want to ask you. Though you are as well going to apply in a way because you are a counselor. So we would want to know, in your own perspective as a counselor. So from a counseling perspective, how is AI influencing students' learning habits and academic behavior?
Okay. Let me share a little background that would help us understand this very well. And because in many fora, I've been where AI is discussed as a new concept.
Okay.
And I don't believe that it is new. I only believe that for some reasons that I am not totally in control of, it has gotten to education and it has become popular in our side. But it's like it came earlier than this. Now, so if you go back to what AI does, okay, what the mentality, the psychology of AI is that human beings, teacher, now talking as a teacher, students, parents, school administrators have a limit that they can go. They can go, let's say, an intelligent teacher, an intelligent student, a very good administration and manager can go like say 70%. And in the 21st century markets, we need more than 70%. The other 10% isn't guaranteed, the other 30 isn't guaranteed, the other 20 isn't guaranteed. So AI comes to assist, okay, the humans from the 70%, pushing it toward 100%. So it gives you 30% efficiency, while the human intellect gives out the 70%. That's the communion that is supposed to happen with AI. Now, so you go, if I now want to go back, in aviation, it was there. You know, an aeroplane has no trafficator. It doesn't have side mirror.
Sure.
Fine. So how does it dodge other planes? TCAST. That was an AI.
Definitely.
That 1960-something TCAST. Traffic Avoidance Collision System. Now we have the maneuvering augmentation system that Boeing introduced into its latest development that caused crashes. That when the plane tries to pitch up too much, bring down the nose. There were sets of instructions given to assist. In medicine, there are some diagnoses that the eye and the microscope can't save. So AI comes to pinpoint, most especially in Alzheimer's and cancer diagnosis outside, they employ AI. So it comes to assist. So now, the counselor would find it very difficult, if not impossible. Like when you're working in a school system that we have up to 1,000 students, to go around to see students with certain behavioral patterns, learning disabilities, and so on and so forth. At least when I was a student in the Holy Family, my counselor's office was filled with logbooks of students' results. So he has to painstakingly go through those results one after the other, to have to write reports for students or call students for counseling. But now in my office, I don't have such drawer for such lengthy books. I've been in practice since 2020. So up till now, that means my office would have been clouded with books. What I have is a screen and my laptop. So when teachers impute students' results into the system and results are prepared, calculated automatically and rendered, I deploy an AI algorithm with a set of instruction to enter that system and fish out students who have problems in math, students who need intervention, students who have behavioral issues as indicated by the teacher, with a speed of light.
Seconds.
With a speed of light,
Yes,
that information is submitted to the counselor. So I can now sit down, maybe assign, if it's more, assign to other counselors, take on this student on this, take on this student on this. And the system is also designed, like he mentioned, with parent feedbacks, that when tests are imputed, parents can just by a click of a button raise a flag, and the counselor would now know, okay, fine, the parent is uncomfortable with 5/10 mark score of a student who for the last 3 years had scored 10/10 in test scores. So why are you having 5/10 now? That's a query for the counselor. So data collection system, yes, it has enhanced beautifully. Now some advanced AI, or the one my company creates, the AI we create. Now another issue I want to make it very clear that when we say AI, people, ChatGPT comes to mind, Copilot comes to mind, those search engines in quotes come to mind.
Yes.
That is not the level we operate as far as AI in education is concerned.
Beautiful.
So I go back to his first definition. The AI we design in education is a teacher enhanced tools
That's beautiful.
that is supposed to enhance learning, teaching, counseling, administration, result computation, result analysis. That's the particular AI we design for school systems. So when that AI comes, it would already give a general report. That is, it would generate its own report on, let's say, a student's name, Samantha Ukeme, for instance, were to be a student. So AI gives me a notification about Samantha and states out the options I have to implement on Samantha. So what the counselor does is to look at the recommendations given by AI because of this, confirms with his own physical data, and then executes the plan. So I can, the law had said that you have to be a counselor, I think 1 to 100 students, one counselor to 100 students. With AI assistance, one counselor can counsel 1,000 students. As simple as that.
Beautiful. This is very powerful. I mean, I can assure you it is very interesting. Okay, so quickly, we want to see how we can manage our time. So I am coming back to you, Doctor. And then what I want to ask you is, what lessons can policy makers learn from past educational reforms as they develop AI-related policies? What are the lessons?
Thank you very much. Before we talk about the lessons, I want to say very clearly what has been the previous policies in Nigeria. What has been the policies of education? The very essence of education is to ensure that education meets the needs and aspirations of members of a particular society. My question now is, the type of education we are receiving, the kind of technology that has been reintegrated into the African society, have we used it to the extent that it meets the needs and aspirations of the African society? Before I get to your question, sometimes we used to question some of the things we learned in school, the philosophies of Pestalozzi and the likes, and how we are really applying it in our societies today. Having said that, it is very simple. There is need for us to review our curricula. It is very important that the school system should review the curricula to meet the needs and aspirations of the Nigerian society. What does this mean? AI is not just something you throw into the society. It is something that needs a foundational structure. My brother made mention of the fact that, which I agree, that AI had existed, but I beg to differ. I think it came a little late to education, and that is why a lot of people in the educational sector are seeing it as something new. When we talk about changing the curricula, basically in Nigeria today, what is the minimum requirement to be a teacher? NCE. Go to most schools today, you see SSC, those with SSC teaching, feeding the children with poisonous information. Absolutely. And basically these are people who have no knowledge of what AI is all about. They have to be a solid foundation from the across all level of education, primary, secondary and tertiary. And this is very important because we cannot bring AI to teach the children when the teacher has no knowledge of what AI is all about. It therefore means that there have to be important training and retraining of teachers that cuts across all level of education. Let me make an instance. We Nigerians, once we have settled to a particular pattern of doing something, it becomes very difficult for us to change.
Even with innovation.
Exactly. A lot of teachers are already used to writing lesson note manually.
Sincerely.
And you take AI to introduce to them, maybe there is a workshop organized by the school. The resource persons that are doing the workshop, the teacher will be looking at you and you will notice that this person doesn't even want to learn. The teacher is not interested because you are now bringing a new idea that is strange, an idea that the teacher did not have a solid foundation, an idea that the teacher sees that idea as one that is even very difficult to be impacted on the student. That is why I said it came late. It came late. And truthfully, so many people see when we talk about AI, they see it as just a chat GPT and the but it goes beyond that. Are we also talking about policies as to how it affects the students? That was on the part of the curricula. Because for us to lay a certain foundation, we must be ready to accept new knowledge, new ideas. That is why I said policies affect the curriculum. There must be a total overhauling of the Nigerian educational system, where the child from the primary, secondary, and even tertiary will be made, and especially in faculty of education, AI should be made, a subject on AI should be made mandatory. Not just teaching the student, what do they call it, GS, computer. I think that is what they study as a technological course. AI should be introduced, and educational students should be taught how to use these tools. Students should also be engaged to practically understand what AI is all about. The application should be done both within the class and when they go back. And finally, we want to talk about how AI affects the general operation of the school. Like my brother did mention, there are a lot of things we could do with AI without stressing ourselves. Before now, it was very difficult to keep records. Very, very difficult to keep records, and sometimes records are misplaced. But now, you can easily document them. You can schedule classes. You can use AI to schedule classes. We can use AI to write lesson notes. To conclude, for us to ensure that students at all levels accept this new idea, there must be a solid foundation. Government must be ready to fund. Because, like I said, before we bring something to introduce, it will require funding. A lot has to be done. And if that can be achieved, introducing new policies that will ensure that students learn from the primary to the university level will also make the integration of AI very easy to understand. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. You see, at some points while you were talking, I had to process what you were saying, and I'm wondering how going on, because it seems we have been left behind. So do you think there are ways, or are there people, since you are in the institution, you are in the university community, do you have ways you could pass this message in case the leaders up there do not even have idea? I know there are people, especially some of our lecturers, who are a bit old, and they're the ones running the system. Some of them are not even online. Some of them, they have,
to make a mandatory rule that all of them must learn how to use computer to compute results. Nobody will answer you.
Wow.
So a lot of attempts has been made already through publications, through workshops, conferences, but
hear this. Okay, so Mr. Idion, the next question I wanted to have for you, you actually gave a part of the answer. So I don't know. Let me just give a recap. It was about how you can use AI to personalize, student experiences to meet different needs of different people. If I'm not mistaken, you gave a response on that. Should I move to the next question, sir?
No, I did not give
a direct
response to that. It wasn't comprehensive.
Okay.
What we are talking about basically is what we call adaptive learning. Adaptive learning, it's a philosophy very recent. I think Montessori has something similar to that. That students learn according to their pace, according to their abilities, and what they really want to learn. It's something that revolves around Montessori. Adaptive learning is a system that the academic system pacing given to Mr. A is different from Mr. B. While Mr. B has shown improvement, you improve and increase the means of his own learning. That's adaptability. Yeah. And while this other one is coming up, struggling, you encourage while you give him simpler assessment to bring him up.
Okay.
It's an educational process that we would find it very difficult to have in Nigeria because of our schooling system. Nigeria, we practice mostly a schooling system, and being a schooling system, we have streamatized learning. Students are put in class. Grading system is first position, second and third. We lump all of them together, and then our large number of students, it becomes difficult. But where we have developed a system for the class to take care of that, what we do is that when students' inputs comes in, when the input arrives, what the system does is to grade learning experiences for slow learners different from learning experiences to middle range learners, different from learning experiences to fast learners. Okay. That's one principle of adaptive learning in which AI can be. Now, but the greatest challenge, like my brother has mentioned, resistance to change and funding. It becomes, our company have done seminar for like 4, I think counting like 5 schools that we've done seminar on AI augmented classroom. We created a new classroom on an AI platform to assist students learn faster. Now, administrators of this school are the ones enforcing under threat of, we are not going to pay you salary this month if you do not change using the hybrid curriculum that's been implemented in this classroom.
Wow.
So when we have a system where such threat does not exist, where you can't threaten a professor that under African novels, that the novels mentioned in the scheme for African novels has to be treated according to first the international standard, and he asks you, for instance, like he has said, I'm a professor, I've done this for the past 30 years, students have been graduating. You graduated from this system without having to pass through that. It becomes a very serious issue. So while my brother said it came late, it's going to be like later. It will take a whole lot of time, and funding is very expensive. One algorithm with automation code can run for like $5, $6, $7. Pay automation. Multiply $7 by 100 of automations. My phone is still ringing because there is a school that we went to train teachers on how to generate resources on our own AI platform. The teachers not being used to the system double clicks 3 or 4 times without the patient to generate. So that one teacher can consume up to $50 in a one lesson.
This is serious.
Our government, if it is road and refuge in the street that they cannot park, they're going to invest. Our schools in the street have no classrooms. That the school have no roofs, no chairs for students to sit down. So how are they going to invest on augmented learning? It's not going to work. That's it.
I am speechless, but still very excited because there is hope. We are very much hopeful that people like you, people like me, people like you that is watching this session, when it gets to our time, we are growing. We are doing something. You know, if you are doing something, you can never be static. So definitely, we would get to a point where government, decision making, in every aspect of our lives would come to our turn, and then we would implement what we know. That's my belief. We may not be able to force things, but definitely that time is coming where Africa, Nigeria, Akwa Ibom, and all the local governments herein would also be a name in terms of the discourse. So at this point, we would be calling for a short break. So please do not leave. Just a couple of seconds. We are right back.
My body and soul functioning in quickening, quickening my body and soul. Look for your Rima, Rima, Rima. Look for your Rima, Rima, Rima. Look for your Rima, Rima, Rima. Look for your Rima, Rima. Go and look for your Rima, Rima. Start to look for your Rima, Rima. Go and look for your Rima. Make you start to look for your Rima, Rima, Rima. Oh, no, 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 no. You will find you can have a peace of mind. Holy Spirit that lives in my body and soul. When you have it in your mind, then you can cast and bind. Holy Spirit that lives in my body and soul. Now it they give me money, now it they give me testimony. No, 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 no. Holy Spirit that lives in my body and soul. Now it I carry begin when I start to sing. No, 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 everybody sings. No, 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 no. Holy Spirit, go and look for your Rima. The word of God is a spiritual thing. Without it, you are done for. Without the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, the Bible would be like a dictionary, an history book. In fact, you can call it a book for ordinary. That's why you need the Rema.
Okay, welcome back. We are so glad to have you back again on this on today's discuss. We were talking about harnessing the power of AI for transformative learning. In case you are just joining us, you're welcome. And stay still. So we just went for a short break and we are back. So I would be coming back to you, Doctor, for us to pick up from where we stopped. And the next question I'll be asking you is, how can governments ensure that AI does not widen the educational inequalities between urban and rural communities?
It will widen the inequalities. Let me make it very clear. You see, when we talk about inequalities, I need us to understand that these things were handed over to us. If we go historical line, you know that in the past, when we had colonial governments, there were segregations.
Yeah.
Where we had hospitals for the whites and hospitals for the black. We had education for the whites, or rather schools for the whites and schools for the black. So this inequality is something that was handed over. Now, governments can actually control. I'll prefer to use the word control the inequality. And that is some of the things I tried mentioning earlier. What should governments do? We know the electricity power supply situation we have in Nigeria.
Yeah.
When a child attends a school that there is no light and comes from a region or lives in a community where he has never seen light, how can such child studies and effectively understand the use and application of AI? It is a near impossibility. So government has to ensure that at least there is steady supply, not only in the urban areas but also in the rural areas. Because for you to understand and effectively use or implement AI, electricity is paramount.
Yeah.
We also talk about internet. We know the kind of network we have in Nigeria. Some of us that are in the urban areas sometimes complain very bitterly. What is the situation of those who are back home? The same thing applies to young people who cannot go to schools that can provide free network. And of course, you know, there are a lot of schools now where learners pay very high, and there is internet both in school. When they get back home, the parents still provide them with internet.
Yes.
So these learners have the opportunity to practice the use of AI both in the classroom and when they get home.
Yes.
Which is not exactly the same with children from poor backgrounds. And the prices of these devices, we know how much a price of phone now is equivalent to a plot of land. If you want to study and understand the use of AI, you must government should come in and ensure that these gadgets are provided. A lot of politicians are doing it. To provide gadgets, donation can be made to schools. Gadget that will enhance effective learning and implementation of effective implementation of AI. Without this, it will become very difficult. My brother here said funding will not be easy, but we believe that a sincere government that want to improve the educational system of its state will actually go all out to make sure that, one, there is steady network supply, there is steady electricity, public and private schools are being supported with internet. Government and private schools have been supported with gadgets, computers, and all those other tools that will help students to effectively understand how to use AI and also effectively apply them.
God will come to our aid. Sincerely, we have a long way to go. Thank you so much, Doctor. Mr. Idiongo, please, I'd love to know what impact AI might have on students' emotional intelligence and their interpersonal skills and mental well-being. So let me get on the question as it is. What impact might AI have on students' emotional intelligence, interpersonal skills, and mental well-being?
Okay, I think that's quite broad, but I'm going to narrow it down. I'm going to work on emotions. You know, everything that comes has a positive impact and a very negative impact also. It comes like an amoral thing, like a gun, which can be used for security of life and properties and can also be used for assassination. So AI is like that. While it offers stability, comfort, resourcefulness, saves time, carries on more work, it can also, on the other hand, destroy. And that takes me right to the last encyclical of Pope Leo that talks about the impact of AI on human life and warns of weaponizing AI That is what he actually meant was that introducing AI into warfare is going to take war to a different level. He's trying to push from the United Nations together with the United States and GIF and or the Wall Alliance to ensure that AI is not applied to that extreme. But even when we come back home to a child, the first examination platform that I designed for children to write exams, on the day of an examination, some students, through footprint, I discovered that some left the exam to browse pornography. Okay? Because they have wider, that was my first trial on designing an examination platform, a CBT platform. So I had to go back and was like, what type of problem is this? Redesigned it to make it impossible to leave your examination platform without submitting. So I redesigned auto submission and added proctoring and something to stop malpractice. That was the first equation. Now, the emotional stability of the child can be positively affected by AI because good counseling resources can be accessed by students. That's number one. But when we turn over to vices, AI helps vices to get to an extreme level. For instance, in pornography was about you having to open the internet to view naked pictures, right? And naked actions. That was pornography. Now, with the presence of AI, consumers of pornography can create their own women, create their own actions. So they're not only logging into sites where they find these things, they prompt the AI to create this perspective. And then when I was working on AI augmented classroom, reality classroom, if reality space is also polluted by that creation, it means human beings would be more individualized than communal, because it's possible for me to create my wife, with my wife, and spend my whole day with my wife under virtual reality, as extreme as that. And when such a person comes back, how will he be able to relate with another person in the society? His emotional intelligence will be damaged completely. So while we clap hands, I think practitioners, my problem is resisting the change. When you resist a particular change, you give the change an opportunity to grow up to a dimension that it will force itself on you. But if when this change comes, practitioners step into it, we will be able to modify. Like it happened with the exam software. I modified it.
Yes.
I made it impossible that you can't do that.
Yeah.
And even I created my own browser that if you're writing exams, you don't use Chrome, you don't use Explorer, you use my own browser. So that my own browser, pornography cannot sell through that browser.
Yeah.
So if when the AI came, I said, no, I don't want to be part of AI. Students have to read their books. Students have to write their notes. I wouldn't have gone there. One thing with Gen Z and adolescents is that the more you tell them don't, the stronger the urge to push ahead. So it is important that stakeholders, decision makers, those who have authority or in this area would come together and see how we can clean up this space and make it a safe space for better emotional intelligence development.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We are learning a lot, not just learning a lot. You have really opened our eyes and our understanding. And trust me, personally, I am so grateful for this session. Please, Doctor, I am going to jump one question because you had given an idea on that. So let me go right into asking you about how teachers training institutions, how should they prepare educators for an AI-driven future?
It's okay. Thank you very much. I think we have also mentioned that already. It is under part of teachers training and retraining of teachers.
Yeah.
I still want to go back to when I mentioned to my brother that AI came a little late to the educational sector, because for me, I think we are practicing partial implementation of AI in schools. As of now, there are schools that AI have not even gotten to. There are schools in the rural areas that have not even heard. Their teachers do not understand how it is or what it looks like, how it works. I think we should lay a solid foundation. there should be a solid foundation, like I said, where AI will be included in the curricular system that cuts across all teaching programs, in the NC programs, in the PGDs, for all students in the Faculty of Education, because especially for those who are also obtaining their TRCN, Teachers Registration Council, this should be a compulsory training. It should be inculcated and included in the curriculum for them to have a solid foundation of how to effectively use it in the class, personalize it, how to use it at their own pace, how to use it to sort out those difficult challenges they will likely face while in class. It is very important to do that. And that is just the only way we can fully integrate, laying a solid foundation for it, ensuring that the teacher understands what it's all about. Until we achieve that, then we'll still have some challenges.
All right, thank you, Doctor. Okay, so Mr. Idiongo, please. How can parents and educators guide young people to use AI responsibly, rather than just becoming, over dependent on it?
Okay, let me leave parents alone because that's quite literal. Let me go to teachers. Now, in the university system, I teach in the School of Basic Studies at the University of Uyo. In the university system, I give a assignment to students, and they go copy from AI and submit. And then I'm able to know that they copied from AI because that's my genre. They don't know that I'm a pro there. So when you tell a student, Margaret, you copied from AI, they tell you, God forbid, I did the assignment, and then I will now say, okay, this is the link you copied from. I give him the time, signature, everything on the way he copied the thing from.
Yeah.
And he's so freezed that I can have access to that now. Now, another question there is that these are students, these are neophytes, they are not well grounded on the system. Because someone from me, if I copy from AI, even if you use evil spirit, you would detect that I came from there. I'll keep my footprint clean. I keep everything around it clean so that you would know I got it from there. Now, so supposing we have a student as dangerous as me, for instance, fine. So I think assessment has to change.
Okay.
From reliance on submission to presentation. That was the first thing I advocated.
Okay.
You've done an assignment, and even in the secondary school where I also teach, in as much as we respect the exam thing you write, some practical aspects of that course, even there is no subject that cannot be practicalized. English, you would run the vowel scale for me. You put the consonant with you do the analysis for me with your bare hands and your presentation. So when it comes to presentation, we will smartly know the ones who simply copied from AI to print and submit, and the ones who actually know. So the teacher should be more eager. If there is a word like that or a phrase structure like that, the teacher should be eager to know, has this student learned than has he copied? Most of our teachers are lecturers are particular about where did you get it from, where did you copy it from, not as to whether that child knows. So I will accept your work and I will say, thank you very much, I love this rate's fine. Okay, you stand here, pay with two other groups, begin your presentation.
Good.
Let's talk about what you wrote. Or you give a question that you know that frame a question, a test item in such a way that the knowledge, the answer to the question relies on practical applicability, not just sources that you can quote and submit. That is one way educators can save students from unnecessary relying. Go to AI, look for it, read, copy it, no problem. But as you copy it, study it, and come to class and prove to us, come to a seminar ground, prove to us that you have studied it. For parents, I have always said that having students having access to phones in an age that is too early is dangerous. That's it. Because some of the devices, not some, all aren't protected. Except where you've protected it and shared network to that child. Yeah. Not all parents can do that. So leaving a nursery school pupil or a primary 6 pupil with phone could be quite dangerous Okay, so I am not in support of that. I support where parents can guide in the process of doing that, so that the child can be heavily exposed to that. I think there was one video by Elon Musk, and he said he doesn't want his children to have access to. I said, "Okay, you are the one that inspired us to be this mad, and now you are protecting your generation."
Yeah.
So, but on the whole, it's very important that children be protected from these devices.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. We cannot have this discuss without looking at that particular aspect of, the negative aspect of this discourse. But as far as the advantages outweighs the negative aspects, that's fine, because if we want to talk about how people now use AI, on the surface, not the kind of okay, let's talk about the generative AI, where you get online, you see all manner of copy and paste here and there. People are not ready to sit down and think. And I'm wondering, how are students coping? What is going on really in the educational sector, where students are now lazy? Students in the university, even in secondary school, they are lazy because they know where they are going to rely on for the assignments quickly. Just a prompt, and the result is out. And then they copy and paste. Would these people, this generation going forward, actually sit back to learn, to study, to be loaded the way you both are, that you can actually pick up a topic, you dissect, you analyze, you teach, you impact? What quality of people or students are we actually going to produce in a couple of... Reach out to the agency controlling the educational sector in Nigeria to legislate AI. So the person said I should ask you, before I get back to your question, please, sir, what do you think?
It is very possible to reach out. Like I said from the beginning, here in our country, we have, just like we fondly say, we have a constitution that is not practicable. It is as simple as that. It is one thing to make policies. It is another thing for those policies to be what? Implemented. He has said it all. Mm-hmm. He has said it all. The question now is, has people not reached out to those relevant agencies?
Yes, that's the point.
People have reached out. But it could be that these people don't want to do it for reasons best known to them.
Okay.
And you talked about how we will manage the situation. I think recently people are over-relying on AI. It should be seen as an assistant.
Thank you.
Not taking over the job of the human being. And it is becoming very unfortunate, because every small question, you see somebody rushing to chat GPT. It even got... I noticed this very issue during the just concluded Akwa Ibom State Civil Service recruitment. Somebody will go to AI and say, suggest 40 questions that could be asked for agri-economics. AI will give you questions. AI will think for you. Not only questions, though, questions and answers.
Definitely.
And if you are asking AI for 40, they definitely one or two, you could be lucky. So you see, people don't want to make research. People over-rely on even the listing, and you see, it is doing a lot of damage to human beings. It is taking down our ability to reason critically. It is affecting our logical reasoning because we over-rely on it.
Okay, so, Doctor, sorry for cutting you in. Now, I want you to continue that response, but I need you to be specific on the educational system, because you are already responding to the last question I wanted to ask you, which is, what are the risks of over-reliance on AI in educational system, and how can they be mitigated? So it's okay for you to pick up and then give us way out, because at the end of the day, when we have such discussion, we want to take something home.
It's okay. Thank you very much. I love to say that to regulate it, I think governments can protect data or the kind of access that people at whatever level gets to.
Okay.
For instance, like my brother said, a child in nursery 1 who have access to phone and has data is exposed to whatever knowledge he or she wants.
Yeah.
That can also be regulated. I think we used to see some sites. If you are going into some site, you'll be asked, are you up to 18?
Yes.
Something like that could be done.
Okay.
But we know Nigerians. I want to have access to a particular information, and you're asking me whether I'm up to 15 years. I will tell you yes now. So there should be a way I think the major problem we have personally, the problem we have is that we don't have a base where data of all Nigerians are recorded, where government can use to control what any individual have access to or not. For instance, a child comes back and asks you for your phone to do assignments, but instead of doing that assignment, the child will divert to getting informations that are not relevant to somebody of that age. So government, it boils down to willingness of the agencies that are involved, because definitely these proposals have been made.
Okay.
But implementing it could also be a problem. It could be as a result of the fact that these agencies may tell you we don't have the fund to solve such problems, and they will allow it to be the way it is. So government has a role to play to ensuring that there is protection of data like some schools, data or access to information that should not be allowed to the public.
Okay.
And also, I'd love to also add that AI should be used ethically. There should be no bias in using AI. Bias, by that I mean it should be used for the right purposes. It should be applied to get the right results.
All right. Doctor, while you were responding, I'm just imagining how parents or guidance could actually come to a point whereby everyone understands what is happening. You cannot pick any of my gadgets, even if you clear, the timeline, the page you were. Once I pick up my phone, I would know exactly where you went to. I know where to go on my settings to understand where you went to or whatever you did when you picked up. So it is actually going to be a long process, a long journey for everyone. But the problem is, do people even have interest? It's one thing to not to know anything. It's another thing to even have that interest or passion to even learn, to even understand what is going on. So, Mr. Idiong, please, I'd love to ask, let's say the last question, but not the least, of course. Every response, every question has been loaded, and it has been very interesting so far. So the last question would be on what practical AI tools can students and teachers begin to use to enhance learning outcomes? Can you suggest any?
Okay, I don't know whether I would be said to be biased because I create tools. I won't suggest any other tools except the ones I've created.
Okay, let
That's
me quickly type because
so
I
would say eduvite.org. If you use eduvite.org, it's designed for teachers where teachers can get their resources, get updated syllabus, generate their lesson notes, their learning experiences, and discussion questions, including assignment and practical workout for students in virtually all the subjects. It's also a platform where learners can go and learn, set exams for themselves, answer through gamified process, and score themselves on the topics the teacher had treated in class. I also have a counseling platform that can help students in career guidance, where they can go and type in the subject that they are proficient in and the system subject, the departments and universities in which they can study. Because of that, their subject combination, assist students to combine subjects. Students can look at courses in the university, availability, accreditation, and all of that. And then students can also set UTME exams for themselves and tests to meet the cutoff point of relevant universities.
That is very powerful. That's very powerful. So
without being biased, please, I think this Indian Sushila, an Indian woman, also has something like that she does, but not as me. Me, I learned from my forefathers. Mine, it's a little bit more incorporated. There's something like that. We have Academia and you also. That's another platform there. Not just advertising my own.
Wow.
Before Catholic Media asked me to pay 30,000.
Okay, all right. Thank you so very much. It's quite interesting, but we are actually looking at our time, but we wish we could still hang on. Okay, I think there's a question. Someone is trying to draw my attention. Let me see if we have a question. You are going to give me a take-home word or lines. Both of you, please. And I'm going to really be particular about this last response. Something that you would give not for free, but definitely you're going to give for free actually, but someone just trusts that someone is going to value it, and that person is seated here. If there's a secret in your field as related to the discourse on this podcast that you would want to say, be it a piece of advice, be it an idea, but something very valuable deep down your heart that you would only give to someone that has either paid for or someone you truly value or love. So at that point, let me start with you, Sam. So give me your final word or final lines, and trust me, I'm paying deep attention to what you're saying.
Okay, my last line is that people should stand up and study, work hard, because AI will take over jobs, very many of them. Now, an A-bus plane can take off, fly, and land without the pilots. It's called fly-by-wire. So pilots are about to lose their jobs. With the cell phones that are coming up and the kind of editing mechanisms available to phones like Samsung, photographers' job are at the edge. Event coverage automation that are coming and so on. So it's for those who are resisting the change, that's where my advice go. Don't resist the change. I remember Kanayo saying that it's going to ban Ruth Kidera and the rest of them from doing YouTube videos, that actors used to go on site, you don't share it on YouTube, blah blah blah. I think he has woken up to the fact that we shoot movies now without human beings. Yeah. We just create our own human beings and shoot the movie. So we wake up tomorrow and the entire film industry, as you know it, will be shut down. So don't resist the change. Go into the change so that the change will not drown you.
Don't resist the change. Go into the change so that the change will not drown you. That is beautiful. Please, sir, let me have you speak.
If I knew you were going to ask something like this, I think I would have kept it. I think I'd already mentioned that we should not over-rely on AI. Rather, we should see it as an assistant. Just like he said, those of us in Nigeria and Africa seems to have abandoned what we used to refer to as handwork. Everybody wants to sit in the air-conditioned office and cross their leg. No, we should go back to technical, vocational, and entrepreneurial skills. I think, like you said, AI can be applied to anything we are doing in life. If you are doing a particular entrepreneurial job, the idea, the knowledge you can get from AI can be invested into whatever you are doing to help you grow. So we should see it as an assistant that we can reintegrate into whatever we are doing, be it technical or vocational skills. And with the suggestions we will get, we can widen whatever we are doing.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much. I mean, my special guest, I honor you both, and I'm really grateful. It's indeed a privilege to have you today at Sonax TV. So, if you had stayed with us till this moment, we say thank you. We truly appreciate you. And at any point you come across this video, please, it is loaded. This session is loaded. Share. Tag someone to see what is going on here. And at this point, we are going to call it a day. But before we do that, we want to take our time to appreciate the people who stayed with us. I have seen Anthony John Ebong. I've seen Cosmos Michael Esiet, Joseph Friday, Otu, Gaswiel, Jesse Michael, Tom Okpo, Edith, Paul Sly, Prince Augustine Asukwo, Evangelist Wisdom Enang, Promise Edem, and more. We are indeed grateful you were here. I hope you've learned something. So let me quickly tell you about Sonax TV. Here is located at number 5 Dominic Utuk Avenue, where you have the Pastoral Center. This is a very serene studio, very beautiful. You can see the lighting. It is very comfortable. So if you are a content creator or you have a program of any sort, you need a space to record maybe your interview session just like the one we just had, or any program at all, and you need a space, I am inviting you to Sonax TV here at the Pastoral Center. Uyo Catholic Media is doing a great job because Sonax TV is actually under it. It is the mother, while Sonax TV is the daughter or the child, and that's amazing. So I am going to leave a pinned number, the address of Sonax TV in the comments. So whenever you come across and you wish to come here to work with us, to record your sessions, go ahead and call or send a text to that number, and you will have that response. We are here, and do not forget that we have 24/7 power supply here, and whenever you come to this place, you'll have access to the internet 24/7. Free Wi-Fi. So why not? Anytime you need a space, remember Sonax TV Studio. I am Samantha, and let me remind you, the names of my guests once again. Please, sir, say your name.
Mr. John.
Please, doctor, say your name.
Achibong.
Thank you so very much. We call it a day. Thank you for staying with us, and bye. See you in our next episode.
I say that not the rema, 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 that's not the rema, 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 that's not the rema, rema, I say that not the rema, rema, see, you don't know, you don't need to come from Kaduna before you go be the president of Nigeria. I don't need to come from Samaria before my album go sell in Samaria. I don't need to speak their language. Thanks for the rema where they give advantage. When I go the riba besika riba babado, then go say that not the rema. Even if you be pastor, you that